Poorly written TV shows are actually more true to life than the well-written ones. The characters and their motivations usually make no sense, the plot is convoluted and drags on, it's often pointless and meandering, and the ending usually sucks. If you do something constantly for 8 hours straight, it's an addiction. However, if someone pays you for it, it becomes a job. Witches have black cats because if they had white cats they would have white cat hair all over their clothes. As a child, whenever I saw a limousine I always expected there was someone rich or famous inside. Now when I see a limousine, I expect it's a bunch of trashy high school kids. Your age in years is how many times you've circled the sun, but your age in months is how many times the moon has circled you. Many adults think that a lot teenagers are going to have sex or consume alcohol in every opportunity, because that's what they would do with the opportunity of being young again. Humans are really bad at recharging, it takes about 8 hours charge for 16 hours of use. If the movie Honey, I Shrunk the Kids took place in Australia, those kids would have died real ducking quick. If plants could think, they would look at predators like lions and hyenas as their protectors from the evil herbivores. The men in your house have spent hours upon hours looking at the wall behind your toilet, while the women have probably never paid it attention. At some point, we all stopped caring about personalizing ringtones. Shows with laugh tracks would be actually funny if the laugh track were replaced with the sound of just one guy laughing hysterically. It's not fair that coffee stains your teeth brown, but milk doesn't stain them white. Every article of leather clothing is previously worn. Drinking milk from a different species is completely acceptable, but drink milk from our own species is considered disgusting. Technically almost every mirror you buy at a store is in used condition. You know you're getting old when the edgy music you used to play to piss your parents off is being played as background music at Walmart. We eat chickens before they're alive and after they are dead. Reading a book under a tree seems nice to us, but for a tree it's taunting them with the shredded flesh of their family. If the pollution of oceans and overfishing continue, they'll have to update there's plenty of fish in the sea too. There are still some fish left among the trash, which is also far more accurate dating-wise. You spend most of your child and teen years being told how precious your youth is and not to waste it, but also given very little power over how to spend your time. Before, elderly people were almost universally accepted as the wisest of society, who people sought out regularly for advice and guidance. Now, elderly people are considered out of touch with reality, and is largely scrutinized for their views on life. When reading a book, a chapter is a checkpoint save while a bookmark is a quick save. If you drew a dick on a vampire's face while they were sleeping they'd never find out about it. Busy as a bee is a metaphor for being unflaggingly industrious, but the job of every bee is literally to stop and smell the roses, a metaphor for taking a break from work. Shrek and Han Solo kinda dress the same. When we pull the Q-tip out of our ear and see a ton of wax we think gross, but when we pull it out with nothing we're kinda disappointed. At one point cartoons made the transition from pretty awesome 2D illustration to really crappy 3D animation. People who are lifelong registered organ donors should get priority on organ transplant lists. There would be a lot more donors if that were the case. Queen Elizabeth has been alive for so long that the title King of England now sounds wrong somehow. Accidentally opening Apple Maps is the GPS equivalent of accidentally opening Internet Explorer. You don't realize how loud normal everyday activities are until you try doing them at 3 a.m. in a sleeping household. Cheese is just a loaf of milk. When you're a kid, you and your friends hang out in your bedroom. When you're an adult, you and your friends hang out everywhere in the house but your bedroom. The only reason Luigi is believed to be weaker than Mario is because he's always player 2, and player 2 has traditionally been our younger siblings. English class is like a conspiracy theory class because they will find meaning in absolutely anything. Maybe kids suck at understanding time because when parents say 5 minutes, it's never actually 5 minutes. People who step up 2 stairs at a time are both active and lazy. As a child I pretended to like carrots for my parents. As an adult I pretend to like them for my child. I fucking hate carrots. Amazon is just Walmart but with the workers' misery hidden from view. So who's driving? Is going to be the dad joke of the decade when self-driving cars are more of a thing. If people in the 1930s saw movies today featuring aliens and spaceships, they would likely think we were using real-life aliens rather than CGI. Birthdays probably meant a lot more back when you weren't sure if your kid would make it through the winter. The Krabby Patty secret formula contains the secret to making cheeseburgers underwater without any cows. We as a population somehow universally decided on mint as being the taste of fresh breath. April Fool's Day is the one day of the year when people critically evaluate news articles before accepting them as true. So much great porn goes unwatched because of a poorly selected thumbnail. It becomes less and less acceptable to cry in public the older you get, despite the reasons for doing so becoming more and more valid. Looking at the moon at night would feel completely different if the Apollo 11 crew couldn't return home. We are getting a new Steve Jobs movie every other year because movie studios know that Apple fans already buy almost the same product every 2 years anyway. Watching paint dry on a microscopic scale would ironically be very interesting. Typing the word skepticism is like playing Pong with your keyboard. Someone developed the internet without the help of internet. The most unrealistic thing about the new Cats movie is not a single anus is visible. It's not the cold, it's the wind, is the winter equivalent of it's not the heat, it's the humidity. Conspiracy theorists will believe low-quality footage of UFOs but not HD footage of a rocket landing. The car horn is the universal noise for both hello and fuck you. If you are cautious enough to carry one of those pointy car window breakers in case you drive your car into a lake, you are probably cautious enough to not drive your car into a lake in the first place. Memes with the face with tears of joy caption are today's version of the sitcom laugh track. The first thing you get after obtaining a bachelor's degree is a sudden lack of respect for people with bachelor's degrees. Timepiece with the fewest moving parts, sundial. Timepiece with the most moving parts, hourglass. Somebody in the 1800s saw a glass bottle and thought, you know what would go great in there? An entire fucking ship. If alcohol was the one that was banned instead of weed, then a lot of people would have had memories of hungry stoned fathers instead of angry drunk ones. The hours of 2 to 4 o'clock seem to be the hardest to stay awake whether it's day or night. Who Wants to Be a Millionaire is the only game show where you can win $32,000 and still feel like shit. Egg plus mayo equals egg salad, potato plus mayo equals potato salad, chicken plus mayo equals chicken salad. Math proves mayo magically turns any food into salad. Whoever started the tradition of the groom not being allowed to be present while the bride shops for the wedding dress should be awarded a Nobel Peace Prize. Stevie Wonder would be a great judge on The Voice. Kids growing up playing with wireless controllers will never understand the brutal satisfaction of unplugging an opponent's controller mid-game. Everyone wants to be the leader, but being second in command is a pretty sweet gig. You have almost the same amount of power, and way less stress. If you curse at inanimate objects, no one cares, but if you talk nicely to them, people will think you're crazy. Getting a vaccine is pretty badass because you beat the life out of a virus and then you absorb it so you can kill its friends easier. Pornhub ads seem to be the only ads actually related to the content, compared to most websites, making them actually feel less intrusive, even thought they aren't. Where's Waldo would be much scarier if Waldo was the one searching for you. You ever think about what people will be like in 1,000 years? How it's almost impossible to think about? In 1018 somebody thought the same thing. You are the uncomprehendable future they thought about. 25 years ago we were worried about destroying trees, so we switched to plastic grocery bags instead of paper. Spring is the season where you always pick the wrong jacket. Guys never put away their summer clothes, we just layer them with jackets in the winter. The holiday season is the one time you can shout, "Don't come in here," from inside a closed room where people will assume you're wrapping gifts instead of masturbating. Cooking products are sold by saying they can help you cook restaurant quality meals, but restaurants get you to come in by saying they have home-style cooking. Since your internal voice doesn't have to breath, you can scream internally forever. Owning a pet would be 10 times cuter if we could make them laugh. If dinosaurs are ever brought back to life, they will be turned into the most expensive and sought-after shoes/jackets/handbags. A casino kicking someone out for card counting is the most accepted form of rage quitting because an opponent is good at the game. I'm convinced most of the adults who told me Wiki is unreliable, now use viral Facebook posts for most of their news sources. From Snow White's perspective, the old peddler woman was totally legit. She gave her an apple and told her to make a wish. Next thing she knows, the prince is there to take her away and she is surrounded by her friends rejoicing. Toothpaste commercials are dubbed so badly so you pay attention to the actor's mouth/teeth. One day our grandkids will dig through our old boxes of stuff, find our old cell phones, turn them on, open the photo library and be absolutely horrified. If it weren't for joggers, a lot of people would still be classified as missing. One of humankind's greatest achievements is the standardization of lefty-loosey righty-tighty. There's probably a correlation between how poorly a job pays and how many inspirational quotes are found around the workplace. Surfing the web has become like watching TV back in the day, just flicking through a handful of websites looking for something new on. Your tongue knows exactly how everything you look at will feel. The massive amount of gay sex that will happen tonight will have absolutely no effect on the birth rate in 9 months. No one is ever born in Plague Inc. Having your favorite band come visit you in the hospital is a good sign that you're fucked. If we allowed people to adopt tigers as pets, we'd probably save the tiger population while getting our own population under control at the same time.